Everywhere, right where you are is perfect. Good morning, and thanks for being here. I know we have probably 15 or 20 different media outlets on the World Wide Web, and appreciate them being here. Appreciate those of you who are here in person. I just wanted to briefly touch on the weather that we have all been dealing with, obviously with the announced fatality that occurred in North Mississippi a couple of days ago. That was a tragic reminder of the seriousness of what we're dealing with from a weather standpoint. We certainly want to make sure that everyone across the state is careful if you're getting out and about in the weather. We just got a situation report at 9 a.m., and I will tell you that obviously the most significant weather is in the 8 northernmost counties, but even beneath there, it's mainly Grenada North, is significant with sleet, freezing rain, snow, a combination thereof. We currently have, as of 9:50 a.m., only 2,059 power outages statewide, but we also know that the temperature is not going to get above freezing at all today, and probably will not get above freezing until sometime mid-afternoon tomorrow. So again, just a word of caution to everyone across the state to be very, very careful if you're out and about. I want to thank everyone for being here this morning, but I want to particularly thank Lieutenant Governor Hoseman, Speaker Jason White, Senators Hobson and Harkins, and Senator Whaley. And I would also like to thank Speaker Pro Tem Manley Barton, Senator Josh Harkins for being here today. I also spoke with Representative Trey Lamar, who was en route here and had a little slow going. I know he'll be here shortly. I also spoke, or the team spoke, with Representative John Faulkner as well, who represents Marshall County. Senator Kevin Blackwell also, who represents, I believe, the northwest part of the county as well, and over in DeSoto County. What I will say this morning is that over the course of my administration, it has been a priority to work with our friends in the legislature to attract new economic investment and create new jobs for the people of Mississippi. But we're not just creating any new job, we're creating high-paying career opportunities that change people's lives. And at the same time, we've sought to develop a well-trained workforce that's ready to fill these new jobs. Recognizing this, it is my pleasure to announce this morning that I am calling a special session within the session to finalize a major economic development deal for our state. This project will be an over $1.9 billion capital investment in Marshall County, and it will create 2,000 new jobs. Let me say this one more time. $1.9 billion capital investment by the companies and 2,000 jobs. This will be the second largest capital investment in our entire state's history. When it comes to CapEx, it will be the largest economic development deal in state history if you look at it on a payroll basis. 2,000 jobs at an average salary of $66,000 per job comes out to $132 million annual payroll for this company once fully completed. Just to put that in perspective for you, the single largest capital investment that's ever been made in our state happened to be 15 months ago when all of us worked together to get that done in the Golden Triangle. That was a $93 million payroll. And so, again, this is about 40% larger even than that Steel Dynamics project when it comes to average payroll. Again, this is a massive win for the state of Mississippi. This economic development project involves the production and delivery of electric battery cells for use in the commercial, automotive, and industrial applications space. It will further enshrine Mississippi as a national leader in the automotive industry. This deal, in my view, is further proof of the good things that are happening in our state. The momentum we're experiencing at the moment is unprecedented. Mississippi is attracting new jobs, and our economy is growing stronger every day. Today's announcement further cements that. While the public discussions of this project begin today, it is important to note that this has been in the works for many, many months. And I want to thank all of those who have worked countless hours to get this historic project to this moment. I am grateful for our partners in the legislature for acting swiftly to finalize this project. The special session will begin on Thursday at 9:30 a.m., and I am excited to see this deal come to fruition. I met with the legislative leaders middle part of last week. We have had ongoing discussions, very positive, over the last 4 or 5 days. And the team, Bill Cork and the team at Mississippi Development Authority, have not only been available to these leaders behind me over the last 4 or 5 days, they will be available to the members of the legislature over the next day and a half. And we look forward to seeing this project come to fruition. This is a team sport. Economic development is a team sport. It's not partisan. It doesn't matter what part of the state it is. This is going to change lives for thousands and thousands of people in North Mississippi, in Marshall County, and beyond. And that's something I hope we can all get behind over the next couple of days. Again, to sum it all up, the largest payroll commitment in our state's history, the second largest capital investment in our state's history, a $1.9 billion investment, 2,000 jobs, a $66,000 per year average salary, and another historic win in the great state of Mississippi. At this time, I'm going to ask Speaker Jason White to come and say just a few words. Speaker?
Thank you, Governor. We are excited to be here today. And as far as the House of Representatives, I would simply say it's a great day for Mississippi. And even furthermore, it's proof that the momentum here in our state is real. The governor ran on that, this idea that there's real momentum here, and this is the evidence of that. So I simply want to congratulate his team and his staff and him personally for working hard behind the scenes. Even as he was in the middle of a campaign, they still did yeoman's work and were able to land this huge opportunity for our state. So I want to commend him and his team. I look forward to the legislature moving swiftly to finalize this deal. All of the particulars appear to be in place. It's a historic day, not only for Northeast Mississippi and North Mississippi, but our state as a whole. And we look forward to continuing that momentum with this deal and into the future. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And at this time, I'm going to ask Lieutenant Governor Hosemann to say a few words as well. Governor?
Yeah, emphasize a few. First of all, this is a continuing part of Mississippi, and we are open for business. And people are recognizing that under the leadership of the governor and MDA and the hard work they do. You're recognizing the results of that, and it's the results of our education system improving, our tax structure going down, our people willing to work and get started. We have Mississippi open for business. And this will go through this, I anticipate this will go through the Senate quite rapidly. We'll be meeting with our senators today and tomorrow. I don't see any barrier at all to meeting the governor's request that we do this very quickly here in the legislature. And I think this is probably a start of what's going to continue to be more and more development in the state of Mississippi, because we have the best place in the country to bring your business. We have the culture here, we have the electricity here, we have the water here, we have the team leadership here, we have the education system, we have everything you need. If you're going to invest somewhere, you ought to come talk to the governor, because this is a place you need to be. So we're excited to have this as one more time that we're doing a significant economic development in Mississippi, and we appreciate MDA and the governor's leadership on this matter. So we'll look forward to seeing everybody Thursday morning shortly. Again,
I want to thank everyone for being here. obviously there are some details that I obviously cannot discuss at this time, but I am happy to answer some questions. I promised these guys behind me that if they wanted to take a seat, that they are more than welcome to do so, because I'm sure there will be some that may be off topic that they don't want to have to listen to my responses. But again, I want to just, before I open it to questions, I do want to say something specifically about Marshall County and their leadership. Marshall County is, and their leadership have worked tirelessly on this project. Their economic developer has done yeoman's work. Their supervisors, both the previous board and the incoming board, have worked unanimously to get to this point. And the fact of the matter is, we don't get to make announcements like that if we don't have a true partnership from the county, from the local economic developer to the state and everyone in between. And I can say with certainty, I've worked with those individuals for the last 4 years. I've worked with them on deals that we didn't win, and I've worked with them on deals that we have won. And what I can say is they are top notch, and I couldn't be prouder of the work that they have done and will do to make this come to fruition. So we'll start with Ross, and then we're going to also take some questions from the Facebook Live feed. So,
Governor, how much money will the legislature be required to put up to finalize this deal, and where is those dollars going to come from?
So this particular project is going to include somewhere in the neighborhood of $350 million, about half of which is going to be in infrastructure in and around the facility, and about half of which is going to be in direct grants to the company. So this particular project is going to be located in the Chickasaw Trail Industrial Park. And so the significant infrastructure investments that we make not only are going to serve this particular facility, but it's actually going to serve hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of acres and open up hundreds of acres around this for additional capital investment. And so we're obviously excited about what this brings. If you go back and you look at the deal that was done in Steel Dynamics, which is Aluminum Dynamics today, what you see is we will ask for bonding authority for the entirety of the project, but then we've worked with Lieutenant Governor Hoseman, Speaker White, and their teams, and I think you'll see a big portion of that will be appropriated. We are anticipating that we have about $650 million in the general fund at June 30th of 2024. And so I think if you look at the cash flow needs of this particular project over the next year or so, it's about $117 million. And so I think we'll probably see some appropriations of about that amount, which will cash flow this, because obviously when you build a $2 billion facility, it's going to take more than the next 30 days to get it built. So, quick
follow-up. So you said half of the 350 is going to be direct grants to the company.
Approximately.
So this is money the state has given to this company. What happens if the company fails, if this project doesn't go to fruition?
So we have provisions in place. We have guarantees in place from the parent company that should this venture not work, which I will tell you, I've worked quite a few of these deals over the last 20 years, and I am highly confident that this is going to be a project that not only works for the company, not only works for the state, but really is going to be an innovative new facility which is going to continue to put Mississippi on the map when it comes to the automobile industry. Quite frankly, Mississippi is already a national leader in the automotive industry. We have Toyota here. We have Nissan here. Nissan has already announced, for example, that they are going to do some of their electric vehicles, and all of their electric vehicles in North America are going to be manufactured here in the state of Mississippi. This is just the next step in an ever evolving space. But as we get to over the next 48 hours and it becomes apparent the parent companies that are involved in this project, I'm confident that the entire state of Mississippi will be as confident as I am in the success of this project.
Hi, Will Sterling with MPB has a question.
Okay.
He never asked good questions, did
We'll go ahead. We'll go with WLBT for now.
Okay, Governor, do we know the name of the company that's coming to Marshall County?
By we, yes, we know the name of the company. I am not at liberty at disclosing the name of the company today. That will be announced on Thursday after the special session, which is something that we have done on every Mississippi Major Economic Impact Act piece of legislation has been done. That is obviously to protect the integrity of the process and the non-disclosure agreements that we have been under for the last year. But I will tell you, the company once announced, company/companies once announced, will be household names to the people of Mississippi and all across America. And I think that's something that I would just reiterate is that this project is really huge for everybody in the state of Mississippi, but I think this is also going to be a story that reverberates all across this country, which shows, as Lieutenant Governor Hosemann said earlier, that Mississippi is open for business. This very well could be one of the largest economic development deals in the country in 2024. Obviously, the largest capital investment we've ever seen in our state, we announced with many of these same individuals involved in the process just 15 months ago. And so to build these kind of successes one on top of the other is really what shows not only the folks of Mississippi but the people across America that Mississippi has momentum, that Mississippi is on the move, and that this is Mississippi's time.
I think Bobby's back.
Great.
Bobby, are you there?
Yes, the governor.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned the name of the industrial park. Refresh my memory. Is that the one that Mississippi shares with Tennessee? And if so, and even if it's not, I think it's right on the border with Tennessee. Would Tennessee commit any resources to this project?
The Chickasaw Trail Industrial Park is not, none of the land of this particular deal or the park is in the state of Tennessee. It is all in the state of Mississippi. The land that is being acquired for this particular project is all in the state of Mississippi, and the entire deal will be in the state of Mississippi. I will tell you that there is a possibility that some of the employees may come from the state of Tennessee. My expectation is that if that is in fact the case, that they're going to come down, work for this particular company, and see how great it is to live in Mississippi. And I think we'll see population growth, because I do think you'll see people moving from all over the country and, quite frankly, all over the world to work at this particular facility.
All right, we're going to go back to Will at MPB. Will? All right, we'll move on to Sarah Ulmer.
Governor, I know that you said that y'all are under some non-disclosure agreements until the deal is finalized. Can you give any details about what the company's, what's going to be here, what the project is, or is that something that's going to be released on Thursday as well?
This project involves the production and delivery of electric battery cells for use in the commercial, automotive, and industrial applications space.
All right, Richard Lake with WJTV.
Richard?
Yes, sir. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Fantastic. Governor, could you give us any insight on the workforce requirements maybe needed here for these positions? Are there any degree requirements or on-the-job training people will need in order to get a job here?
Yeah, so that's a great question. You know, as I mentioned earlier, while we've been out working very hard to bring new economic development to our state, we've also been working very hard with our legislative leadership over the last 4 years to improve on workforce development and workforce training. There's no doubt that we have made some significant progress as a state in that regard. Just a report came out in the last 2 weeks, which said that our workforce training programs surpassed both Louisiana and Texas last year alone. We've got more work to do. We all know we have more work to do. But many of these jobs are going to span from executive leadership, engineering, all the way down to advanced manufacturing. And so when you think about the programs that are already in place in the state, for example, at Northwest Community College, which serves Marshall County, Northwest Community College just recently, and I was actually there for the grand opening, announced that their Batesville facility, they're doing EV technology training for many people in North Mississippi today. My estimation is that that is going to be significantly enhanced in the years to come. But when you think about the programs at the University of Mississippi, specifically the program that they have at the Tate Reeves Barber Center, you're going to see significant opportunities for those kids that are at the University of Mississippi. When you look at the engineering degrees that are offered at Mississippi State University, every kid that's in electrical engineering or otherwise is going to have an opportunity to work at this particular facility. And so the total number of opportunities for this particular entity is going to be about 2,000 jobs. But I'm going to tell you, I would be shocked if we didn't see suppliers locating very near this particular facility, because what you find in the EV space is there's a lot of clustering that goes on. The actual manufacturing occurs in one facility, but the types of things that need to be done around it. And so while the company is guaranteeing 2,000 jobs within a certain time frame, I'm very confident that because of this industry, because of the quality of the companies involved, you're going to see a tremendous amount of spin-off economic development, of which we have already put the infrastructure needed for that additional investment in the Chickasaw Trails Industrial Park into this specific deal. And so we're going to open up significantly more land. And just for those of you who don't know exactly where the Chickasaw Trail Industrial Park is, it's basically just north of where 72 and 302 connect in Marshall County.
Grant, I'll put with Larry and Ledger this question.
Howdy, can you all hear me?
We can. Technology works.
Excellent. Governor, I just have just a few very small questions and a good one. I just want to ask, do y'all know how many acres of land, how many acres this project is going to use for this facility? You also said that it was an American household name. Is this an American company or a foreign company, or if it's not, is it a subsidiary of a foreign company?
So it's 500 acres. The site itself is 500 acres for this particular investment. I think you'll see that there will be this entity will be a U.S.-based entity, yes.
Yeah. And then just one follow-up. I just wanted to ask, just for clarification's sake, that we're in the 2024 legislative session. Was there any reason why we called for the special session for this project?
Well, this will come as a shock to you, but I tried really, really hard to make this announcement in October of 2023. But the timing didn't work out for everyone involved, and I wish it had. But we've been working on this project for approximately a year. We've been working on this particular site and projects associated with it in this particular industry for several years. The reality is that y'all have heard me say this before. When it comes to economic development, 20 years ago when I started in this business, the first question that was always asked was incentives. And they always get back to that question. But then 10 years or so ago, the question started being about workforce. Right now, the number one question that every entity asks about is speed to market. And so the reason we're doing a special session within the session, the members of the legislature are already here, but the special session allows for the not having to adhere to the strict guidelines that the regular session requires. And so, again, we're going to make sure I'm talked to them, the legislative leaders, middle part of last week. We're going to spend the next 2 days talking to any legislator that wants to understand what is in the transaction, what's in the deal. 100% transparency. I think you can talk to the legislative leaders as to what we're doing. But for the simplicity, for mainly those who are making the investment, we want to announce these company names on Thursday afternoon as soon as the legislature completes their work over 5 or 6 or 4 or 5 hour, however long it takes, session on Thursday. We want this to be a one-day session, and I think everyone is in agreement. This is the best way to get a major project like this done. Every Mississippi Major Economic Impact Act that is passed in the Mississippi legislature over the last 30 years or so has been done in a special session, and so it's something that we're used to, and quite frankly, the language and the deal is going to be very, very similar to what we saw in Aluminum Dynamics. And so while the investor is different, while the terms are slightly different, the process is going to be very, very similar to what we did 15 months ago. And over the last 40 years, we've had a Mississippi Major Economic Impact Act about once every 10 years. So the fact that we're here talking about this project today, just 15 months after we announced the previous one, I think that speaks to the amount of momentum that we have in our state. And oh, by the way, once we get this done, and I'm hopeful that we will over the next few days, don't think that we're going to stop chasing really great opportunities to change lives for the people of Mississippi. Driving per capita income up requires that we bring better paying and higher paying jobs to Mississippians, and we ensure that they have the training to do those jobs.
Gotcha. Just one quick follow-up. You said that that it is a U.S.-based company. Does it already have a presence here in Mississippi operationally? Do they have any type of business here?
What I would tell you is, once we get through the process, I think you'll find that there will be multiple entities involved in this, and they have a large number of operations all throughout the United States and Europe.
Thank you, Governor.
And Europe.
We have Taylor Vance from Mississippi State.
Thank you. Governor, I know you said in the past that the best way that you would like to tackle Mississippi's high health and insurance rate is through private employers offering employees health insurance. So I'm just curious, since you're asking the legislature to appropriate tax dollars for this economic project, do you have any assurance from the company involved that they will offer good quality benefits, primarily health insurance, to these employees?
Yeah, thank you for that question, Taylor. The $66,000 a year salary does not include the additional benefits that this particular company will offer. And yes, I am highly confident that that benefits package is going to be very generous for the 2,000 employees of this particular entity.
Hunter Dawkins with the Gazebo Gazette.
Thank you, Shelby. Thank you, Governor. It's a kind of a double question that I have for you, Governor. The first one would be kind of summarizing your inaugural speech, where you said that you were interested, you really had the focus on bringing kids not leaving after college, and I think you would indicate this project is a big portion of that. My first question would be, is this the only, or do you have more projects like this in your hands for the next 4 years? And then I'll follow up after you finish that.
Yeah, well, thank you for that question, Hunter. I hope you're doing well. What I would tell you is we've worked with the legislature over the last couple years. We have made significant capital investments in site development. And so when you look at what's happening in our state, I mean, clearly this particular site up in Marshall County is a phenomenal site. We're opening up additional acres there. There's great highways in the area. There's great rail service in the area. But when you look at what's happening in our state now, when you think about the site that we have as a state in Lauderdale County, when you look at the site that we have as a state, with, of course, in partnership with our local and county governments in Warren County, south of Vicksburg, when you look at the new site development that Lamar and Forest County did a partnership on just west of Hattiesburg, when you look at many of the sites that are going on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, Mississippi has more sites that are ready to invest, shovel ready, if you will, than a whole lot of states around the country. And so I anticipate this is the next announcement of many announcements coming over the next 5 years, because we, as a team, our legislative leadership, our office, MDA, and our locals have worked together over the last 5 years, making the necessary investments that's getting us ready for the next one. I will tell you, I have, since we have been told that we won this site, which, by the way, I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but I believe that they started the search here with about 150 sites all throughout the country. We got narrowed down to a final 3, and we've been in intense negotiations over the last 45 to 60 days on final terms that you will see in this agreement. But 2020, I'll just say this, in 2023, negotiating this deal and running for office were not the only 2 things that we were doing. There's a lot of other opportunities out there, some that are closer to being ready than others, but this is going to be a great week for economic development for the state of Mississippi. But I'll tell you, I think that as we go in the weeks ahead, we're going to have more great weeks saying to the world that Mississippi is open for business.
And the final follow-up, Governor, would be if this has any, plan for the increase of population in certain areas, if this is under your mindset of wanting to build the economy with people or as such. And thank you for the...
Yeah, you talk about population growth, and I'll just point out here, because all of y'all like to talk about it a lot, in terms of population growth and the census numbers. I will just remind everyone that the census admitted about 30 days after it came out that Mississippi was one of the 2 most undercounted states in the entire nation. They actually undercounted Mississippi by 4.37% by their own estimation, which is about 130,000 people. So Mississippi probably has closer to 3.1 million people. Much of that population growth certainly is occurring in the area in which this investment is being made. You think about a county like DeSoto, just to the west of Marshall. DeSoto County is at or near 200,000 people in DeSoto County alone. But what we've seen in the last 5 years or so is a lot of population shifts south to Tate County and east into Marshall County and on over. And I think a project like this is going to see significant population growth in Marshall County. And the great thing about that population growth is it's going to be population growth with people who are earning wages that are currently 1.5, 1.6, 1.7 times what the average county wage in Marshall County is today. And so, again, it's going to take the local people that are there, give them an opportunity to get a job paying more than they're currently making. But it's also going to attract more people into the county and the surrounding counties that want to live there, because in Mississippi, not only is it an affordable place to live, the quality of life is extremely, extremely high. Listen, I know y'all got questions. If you want to follow up with more questions with our team, please do so. I know I can look out here in the crowd and see my friends in the legislature have work to do, and they need to get back to the Capitol. And so I'm going to cut this off now. But again, what a huge, huge day for the great state of Mississippi. And it's a day that we celebrate today, that we're going to celebrate for the next 3 days. But please know that everything that made today possible started years ago as we made incredibly important investments in our infrastructure, incredibly important investments in lowering our taxes, incredibly important investments in our sites all throughout the state, and investments in our human capital, which brings more and more